What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today I want to talk about gas prices. And the reason I want to talk about gas prices is because they continue to rise. And this is continuing to be a problem. Now, in a previous video, a video I posted yesterday, I'll post a link at the end of this video so you can check that out. I mentioned that gas prices are going to continue to rise. And some people in the comments were asking me, what do you mean? Like, why do you think it's going to continue to rise? So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. But first off, on this channel, we talk about retirement, we talk about Social Security, we talk about personal finance. If those things sound like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so before we get started, once again, I want to welcome all the new people who subscribe to the channel, and thank you guys all for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you've been watching me for some time and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. It helps get the message out that YouTube sees it as, oh, people are starting to subscribe and they're watching. So we're going to promote your videos out to even more people. So I really appreciate it. If you've been watching my videos and you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe and hit that little bell notification. That way you get notified anytime we put the videos out. Okay, so first thing that I want to talk about, and first thing I want to show you guys is the Aaa gas prices. Okay, so this has kind of been the standard. Everyone goes to Aaa to see what the average gas price is all over the US. And so looking at our average right here, it's $4, and we can say $4.60. Just round it up, okay? So that's what we're looking at, okay? And prices as of 5/24, so that's as of today. I believe it was last week that I was looking at it, and it was 20 cents cheaper or 20 cents less. So we already see a rise of 20 cents in about a week, okay? And maybe it'll show down here when we go down, but I want to take a look at some of the different states, because we know the largest state right now, or the largest state in the U.S., as well as the most expensive gas, is in California. So the average price of gas in California is $6. That is crazy. Okay, and you see some of the other states in the West, they're all high. Okay, $5, $4 for Idaho. Nevada's $5.20. What was it? $5.24. Arizona's $4.09. And then you kind of work your way down, and you see some of the other states, Midwest states are. I mean, it's all over. Everyone's pretty much $4 average. You might find a few that drop below $4, but for the most part, everybody's at least at $4, which is just insane right now as far as these gas prices. Okay, so looking here at current average, and yesterday's average is here, and then a week ago. So I was mistaken. A week ago it was $4.52, but then if you drop down a month ago, the average was $4.12. So yeah, this is not good. And we're looking at the regular grade. We're not even looking at the mid or the premium. I'm afraid to look at those when it comes to California. But this is just it's crazy. Now we look at diesel. Diesel's important. Gas is important, period. But diesel's important because trucks are bringing in our products, and if it costs more for them to buy gas, then it's going to cost more for us to buy products. Okay, so, and that's one of the keys too. It's often overlooked when we start talking about gas prices. Everybody's thinking about, yes, it costs me more. It costs me more to fill up at the tank, but you also have to think of transportation. Okay, it costs more for these trucks to bring in these products. It costs more for you to take an Uber ride or Lyft. You guys would not believe. I'm going to tell you this story. Actually, let me come back here. I'll tell you this story. I just came back. If you guys didn't know, I was in Colombia for 2 months. And so I go to the I get to the airport, Los Angeles, and I need to get home. Okay. Now I'm about 45 minutes away from Los Angeles. And so generally, when I take an Uber or I take a Lyft, it's usually around $80. That's kind of that's the going rate, or it was the going rate back then. And so I'm anticipating it being about the same. Now, when I left, I believe it was like $85 for me to get to the airport from my house. So I get off the plane. I go through the, all the, get my bags and all that. I go out, and LAX has kind of a weird setup, or I won't say it's a weird setup, but they've changed things around where you need to take a bus to the Lyft and Uber kind of substation, whatever you want to call it. And then that's where you can catch your rideshare vehicles. So I get there, and once you get there, that's when you get on your app and you find, and you say that you want to, get a ride. So I went ahead, I went through Lyft first, and the price, you would not believe what the price was. 45 minutes away, the price was $175. And I looked at that and I just thought to myself, this is crazy. There's no way I'm paying $175. But I didn't have an alternative. I mean, I could call someone to come pick me up, but that's going to probably take an hour and a half for them to get there. Or I could just say, you know what, $175, I'm going to have to pay it. So what I did is I went to Uber. So I looked at Uber's price, and Uber's price was about the same. So I tried to book through Lyft. There was some difficulty, so I couldn't book through Lyft. So I just went ahead and went with Uber, and it ended up being about $183 or something like that. That is just crazy. Okay. And I'm telling you, I could not believe how expensive it was. It got to me to the point where now I'm starting to think, okay, I need to do some different things when it comes to going to the airport. Maybe not go to Los Angeles, maybe go to another airport that might be closer to where I live, or fly into another airport that's closer to where I live. So if I take that Uber or that Lyft, it'll be less. But I'm just telling you, when it comes down to it, everything is getting more and more expensive. Okay. I'm not going to say that the Uber ride was more expensive because of gas, because the reality is I was talking with the driver, and they still have to just pay for their own gas, right? They're not getting any special money to pay for gas. Like, basically, when you do the drive, when you do the Lyft or you do Uber, you have to put your own gas in your vehicle, and you have to keep your vehicle up. Obviously, those type of things are you have to do that. And then you get a small percentage of each ride. Okay, so if gas prices go up, that's just the way it is. But the thing is, and the reason why, and just talking with the Uber driver, the reason why things are going up when it comes to the rides is because you have less Uber drivers and you have less Lyft drivers, because a lot of Lyft drivers and Uber drivers are looking at it, they're saying, I pay $6 for gas. I'm not paying $6 for gas. It's not worth it, because Uber's not paying me enough, or Lyft is not paying me enough to do that. I'm not making that much money, so I'm just not going to do it. And so when I get to that little substation at LAX and I type in, hey, I need a ride, there are not as many vehicles. And because there's not as many vehicles, but the demand is there, because when you get there, there's like 100 people out there, and we all want the same thing. We all want to get home. And so because there's a limited supply of drivers and a lot of people who want those rides, guess what? Lyft and Uber, they jack the prices up. And what can you do? Just like I said, I'm in a situation where I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, do I call a friend to come pick me up? That's going to take an hour and a half. I just been on a plane for 7 hours. I'm ready to go home. I'm just going to pay the $170, $180. So that's kind of how they get you, right? Okay, so let's I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about this whole gas situation and why I think gas prices are going to continue to rise in the summer. So the first thing, let's start talking about why are gas prices high right now. So we know in the last 2 years, we were going through this pandemic, and these oil companies, they stopped producing oil. Okay, they stopped producing a lot of oil because there was no need for it, because people were on lockdown. They weren't moving around as they, a lot of people were working from home, and some people weren't working at all because they didn't have a job anymore. And no one was traveling. And so they didn't need the same amount of oil. So they weren't drilling for a lot of this oil. And so because of the supply chain issue, because of there's a backlog, now they're trying to catch up. And you have some oil companies that they're not drilling. They're still not drilling. They have the opportunity to drill, but they're still not drilling. I'm going to show you a video, not on this video, but I'll show it in the future, of Katie Porter. She's going to be talking about how she feels that these oil companies are price gouging. Okay, so I'll show you that. This video is gonna, I don't want it to be too long. That's why I'll split it up. But when it comes down to it, supply chain, you have oil companies, they're still not drilling, right? Because look at it this way. If you have oil already and you've kind of had a backlog because you haven't had to utilize a lot of this oil because of the pandemic, and now it's getting back on track and people, the demand is up for oil and gas. And so what these oil companies are doing is, because they have this oil on reserve, they're not drilling, because there's a risk to drilling. If there's no guarantee, so they can drill for this oil. There's no guarantee they're going to get what they want out of that oil, but it costs a lot of money to drill. And that's the problem. If they can make just as much money without drilling, they're not going to drill. They're just going to use the reserves that they have, because people are willing to pay these high prices for gas. And that's the bottom line. So when people say, well, yeah, they need to drill, the U.S. needs to allow them to drill more, guess what? A lot of these oil companies have the contracts. They can drill if they want to. They're choosing not to, because it's cheaper to not drill and just hike those prices up. So anyway, it's less risk. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's the first thing, the supply chain. Okay, so we need to get caught up when it comes to supply chain. The next thing is employment. Okay, and I talked a little bit about that, but employment, when it comes down to it, employment's up. If you want a job, you can get a job, because there's so many jobs that are out there. There are more jobs out there than people looking for work. And so because of that, you have a lot of people going to work. Now, some people are working from home, and that's good, but you still have people going into work. And if you're in a situation where you have to get to work, guess what? You need gas if you're driving a vehicle, unless you're in a drive share program or whatever. But for the most part, most people, and I know like in California, we all have our own vehicles. We get in our car and we go. So they're paying these prices. They have to pay these prices in order to get to work. They don't have a choice. And so that's one big thing. Now, another thing, travel. Travel is picking up. For the last 2 years, people haven't really felt comfortable. A lot of people haven't felt comfortable traveling. A lot of people just haven't been able to travel. So now this is kind of the summer that everyone's thinking about, I need to travel. I haven't gone anywhere in the last 2 years. I didn't want to wear a mask on an airplane. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do that. And so now we have a bunch of people that want to travel, whether they be flying in an airplane or driving vehicles. It's still gas, jet fuel or regular gasoline. When we look at it, the prices are going to go up. Okay. Not only prices are going to go up with gas, but prices are also going to go up when it comes to travel, when it comes to hotels, when it comes to flying on a plane. It's just, everything is going to go up. And so that's another reason. Now, the last thing that we're looking at here is the war. Okay. We have to face the reality. The war in Ukraine is causing a problem when it comes to our oil, right? Because now there are a lot of countries, and us being one, that don't want to do business with Russia. Okay. So that means we have a more limited supply of oil, and it's not just us, but it's all over the world. Okay. Remember, this oil situation, this is global. This is not something that's just in the U.S. Prices are going up everywhere when it comes to oil and gas. So those are the major reasons why I think we're going to be looking at a situation where gas prices are going to continue to rise into the summer. We're going to be looking at some real high gas prices, or higher gas prices. And we're going to continue to watch this. I'll do at least one video a week where I'll talk about the gas prices and the average gas price. And we'll keep track of this. I think it's very, very important for us to really focus on this, because this is hurting us in our pocketbook, right? This is hurting us because not only are we paying more at the pump, but also when we go to the grocery store, we're going to be paying more. If we want to buy any type of products, we're going to be paying more, because it costs more for those products to get to those stores. So it's very, very important for us to focus on that. So on top of inflation, we're dealing with these high gas prices, which are also going to drive the price up of products. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, please post them down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.